Hey, good morning, folks. I'm out bright and early this morning to give you a little tour of the front yard. Let's see what's happening in the front yard this morning. So we'll start here with the Lampost bed. This is all mostly annuals in here. Well, there's a few perennials. There's some calamagrostis in there and a few heucheras, and just this year I put in some tiarellas. These little guys right there. And there's some lilies in there too. So the dahlia here, once again, is the HS date with the dark leaves. And these rudbeckias here are volunteers. Didn't plant those, but they just popped up, so I left them. The white flower in the back there, I believe, is a cilantro that just seeded itself in there, and now it's gone to seed, but it's putting on a show. Some more of the volunteer rudbeckias here. And there's the ageratum blue horizon that I've used in other parts of the garden that I started from seed. So this bed changes from year to year. I've had a lot of different things in this bed over the years. Very pretty in the morning light. Get more of a sense of what we're looking at. There's the Lampost bed that we just looked at. And we've got a sidewalk going up to the front porch. And there's absolutely no grass in this front yard. All plantings. So let's take a look at what we have. This shrub here is a native shrub called Eastern Wahoo. So I had to double check. Eastern Wahoo. It's been in for about 9 years. It'll get fairly large, but it's been pretty slow growing. Get some insignificant green flowers in the spring, but it was loaded with them. And the bees were all over it. Just tiny little bees and flies of some sort were swarming this thing. But it's a pretty plant. It's in the burning bush family, but it's not the invasive burning bush that they say you shouldn't plant anymore. This is a native Eastern Wahoo. Very nice shrub. Eventually we'll get large enough where it'll be reaching the driveway, but it's been pretty slow growing. So as an edger here, we've got more of the creeping thyme. Got some lavender in there. I had to replant those after they were winter killed. I start those lavenders from seed. I use a variety called Elegance Purple. This is some of the orange coneflower. Got a nice little pot of impatiens there. Some of the Bella Lugosi daylily. Some of the purple oxalis there. I believe that little cannon is called Pretoria. And some elephant ear coming in there. A few lilies in there too. Not sure what variety. So as edging plants here, we've got some more of the tiarellas and some purple heucheras. This one here is a gentian. Not looking too wonderful right now. Variegated Solomon seal. And some more heucheras in there. Another shrub in this bed is the serviceberry here called Regent. It is one that likes to sucker. As with all the serviceberries, it gets some berries that are very attractive to the birds. They've already been all eaten up. But it's a nice shrub to have. It's very pretty in the spring when it gets white flowers. It's looking a little spotted right now. Serviceberries do tend to get a little bit of disease. But it's a nice native shrub to have here. Here's another look at those two shrubs that we have in the front yard. Serviceberry and the Eastern Wahoo. This perennial in the front here is Amsonia called Blue Ice. It flowers early in the year, and after that it just forms a nice little mat. So moving along the sidewalk here, got some coneflowers. This was some kind of cultivated variety that was supposed to stay a little shorter. It's been seeding a bit. I believe that hosta back there is August Moon, flowering nicely. Got some grasses in there. That's a type of calamagrostis. So just stepping back here, we can see that we have a nice big hickory here in the front yard, which dominates the front yard. And does give some shade, of course. So we've got lots of hostas and heucheras and things that can take shade, wild ginger, that sort of thing. So this calamagrostis here can take a little bit of shade, unlike most grasses. It does all right in here. So that grass is called Calamagrostis brachytricha, feather reed grass. It's nice seed heads later in the year, kind of a purplish color. It's quite showy. It does tend to seed around quite a bit, which is the one drawback, but I put up with it because I really like it. We've got more of the creeping thyme edging here. This is a Berginia called Eroica. Gets nice magenta flowers very early in the year when almost nothing else is flowering. And I like the big leathery leaves. It gives a different texture. And also the leaves turn a bright red color in the fall and over the winter, and they stay through the winter, though a lot of times they need to be dead leafed in the spring. But it's a very nice plant. Got a geranium in there, hardy geranium called Daily Purple. And this hosta is really blooming. I'll put the name of that one up on the screen. This ground cover plant here is the Phlox stolonifera. Blooms really early, and this particular one has purple flowers. It's very pretty, and I like it even when it's not in flower. It makes a nice ground cover. So taking a look at the other side of the sidewalk, got more creeping thyme, more lavender to kind of echo what we had on the other side there. The Angelina sedum. Got more Virginia, echoing the Virginia on the other side. I use this heuchera quite a bit. It's repeated throughout the front yard. I'll put the name of it up on the screen. Little hosta called Radiant Edger. Stays nice with the foliage. Some thyme and sedum mixed in together there. Some more heucheras. These ones were recently planted, so they're a little bit smaller. I have a lot of lungwort in the front yard too. Just moved these into this area from a different spot this spring. They're mostly seedlings, so I don't know what they are exactly, which kind. Probably some kind of a mix. And this is the wild ginger. Some more lungwort in there. So moving back to the other side of the sidewalk. Got more heuchera in there. Different varieties. And several hostas in here. This is a nice one. I'll put the name on the screen, can't remember it right now. Foliage is staying nice, hasn't flowered yet, just starting to send up some flowers. There's more lungworts in the back. I really like the lungworts. Early in the year, they are one of the first things to flower, so they're really appreciated. Oh, we got an interesting bee here. What is this one? Come on out. Bees are distracting to me. Moving on. Got more hosta up there. We've got, retaining walls here and there to kind of step down the slope. Of course, another one of my kitty sculptures there. Underplanted with some impatiens. It's more of the variegated Solomon seal. It likes to spread quite a bit. More hosta. And this here is the wild ginger. It tends to brown out a little bit on the edges for me here. When we get towards mid to late summer. But I really like it. It's a nice native plant. So moving on, we've got this hosta here, which is blooming away, really putting on a show up against the hickory. And in the background there is the hosta known as salmon substance. Really big one, just sending up the flowers. So this is the area we just looked at. And we'll continue on along the sidewalk here. There's a big area of ginger ground cover. It really is quite vigorous. It's almost a bit of a thug. but I like it. So this here is the aromatic aster. Gets lovely blue flowers later in the season. Got some really deep purple heucheras here. That one in the back's getting swallowed up. I need to move it. And we'll just take another look at this side, the other side of the sidewalk. We've got some more lungworts. More hosta blooming away. The bees seem to like that one. Got some ajuga in there. And I really like all the lungworts. Even when they're not flowering, they're just a very attractive plant. So we'll just take another look at the area. And continuing on here, we're getting into a little more sun on the south side of the hickory. So we've got more sun-loving plants. It's a coneflower Echinacea cultivar with orange variety. Got some Stachy's humalo, which is done blooming, but I leave the stalks up just for interest. Got some mums back there getting ready to put on a fall show. Some coneflowers. We've got the purple coneflower, and the yellow one is also a coneflower called Paradoxica. It's actually just a yellow variety. Got some salvia here that was bloomed heavily early in the season. I cut it back to the ground and send up some new foliage, and is getting ready to send up some more flower spikes. And here is a catmint. Put the variety on the screen. It's a more upright variety. Looks like it's popular with the bees, like all the catmints. So this sunny part of the front yard used to be shady. There used to be a very large green ash tree here, which of course succumbed to the emerald ash borer and needed to come out. It was about a 90-year-old tree, so it was quite large. So when that came out, it gave us an opportunity to totally remake the front yard. I did a video a while back when we redid the front yard, so I'll put a link to that on the screen if you would like to watch that one. So one of the first things we did when we took the big ash out is to have this large rock installed, which was the basis for this pathway going up to the front door. I did all the stonework. We had a little help with the big rock. Let's take a look at what we have up against the house here. This is another one of my concrete creations. This planter here. And I've got some big old begonias in there this year. Got a bee up on the wall here. I created these out of old barn boards. I did a video on that too if you'd like to look it up. And There's a window box here, mostly with begonias, a few impatiens and lobelia in there, and sweet potato vine. Another begonia planter there. Got some hostas in the front. These are the gold standard, old variety. Been in here for a long time, like 20 years. I think I divided them once or twice, but they really just keep going and going. Very pretty. Flowers are very nice. Just short of stilby, that's already gone past. We leave the flower heads up for winter interest. These are a couple of the Vision series mixed in together. The other direction, I created this sculpture a number of years ago. It's an old table leg or something up in there. So this evergreen shrub here is a really nice ground cover, Microbiota decatassa. It's Russian cypress, I think is the common name. It's a very soft evergreen. It doesn't, it's not prickly at all. It just goes and goes. I started with 3 plants, and it's now covering quite a big area. I actually have to keep cutting it back because it would probably take over the whole front yard if I let it. It's starting to take over the sidewalk here a little bit. I have to keep cutting it back off the sidewalk, but it's very nice ground cover. Turns kind of a bronzy color in the winter, which I don't mind at all. So moving over to the other side of the front porch, got a little epimedium here, which apparently the leafcutter bees are very fond of. You can see all the circular holes in there. This is a piece of that 90-year-old ash tree that we took out of the front yard, using it as a stand for this planter here. So in this planter we've got a big old white mandevilla. I stuck a branch in the back of the pot to use as a trellis, and then the mandevilla got to the top of the branch, so I had to attach some more twiggy branches so it could keep going. Now it's getting past those twiggy branches, so I don't know where it's going to go after that. It's huge. It's quite a spectacular, nice, big, bold piece right by the front porch here. Next to the mandevilla, we've got the window box here under this window with some petunias and sweet potato vine, lobelia. I think there's an alternathera in there as well. These shutters we made from some old barn boards with the live edge and some wrought iron pieces. So they're kind of unique. Taking a little closer look at the other window box and the shutters. I've been meaning to trim this boxwood. It's kind of swallowing up the window box. One of these days I'm going to get around to it. So the shrub right here is the St. John's wort, same kind we had in the front corner garden. I'd like to use them all over, they're really beautiful. And I lined the path with just some annuals here. Got some salvia, petunias, alyssum, a couple of urns here with some sedum that I store over the winter, take cuttings from and reuse them every year. So I've got a pair of those urns on either side of the path. Got the coneflowers, some lilies in the back there that are kind of a little past their prime. This petunia I like to use every year. I believe it's called lavender tie-dye. Started from seed, kind of fades to a blue color. It's got kind of a two-tone look to it. And the alyssum is clear crystals, purple shades. More begonia here in the corner of the big rock. So stepping back and looking at the path here, we can see the annuals lining the path. And we've got more of the creeping thyme as a ground cover here in the front yard. So stepping back a little bit more and getting in the view of this pathway going up to the front door. And we'll circle around back to the other side of the sidewalk. You can see we've got just a lot of creeping thyme in here as a ground cover. This here is the pussy toes, the native ground cover. It's a nice color and different texture. Got a little bee on me. Huh. Dirt under my fingernails, of course. Okay, bees are so distracting. Some of the Angelina sedum, which had some winter kill. Still kind of fill in. Okay. More thyme along this Boulevard strip. Have a lot of issues with winter kill on the thyme. This is the worst patch of it. Still has not filled back in. So this patch of thyme is still looking pretty brown. This was an area that had more clay in it, so I'm wondering if that's why this part is struggling more than other areas. We had some bad weather over the winter with some 14-degree below weather with no snow cover. So a lot of the perennials that were winter evergreen did have some issues. This thyme is pretty spectacular. I'll put up a photo of what it looked like last spring when it was at its peak blooming. It's quite nice. And I'm hoping it will come back and look good again next year. And if it doesn't, well, we'll find something else to put in there. But I think that was just really unusual weather. So moving off to the right side of the path. We've got a mix of perennials and annuals in here. In the very back, we've got the daylily called Hyperion. We've got the alyssum and petunias edging the path. Some annual salvia and alternatheria in there, and some bedding zinnias. This is Profusion 5-color mix that I started from seed. So here's a little longer view from the street. After removing the large ash tree, we needed another tree in the front yard, so planted this serviceberry. It's the Autumn Brilliance serviceberry. We have had one in the back and we really like it, so we went ahead and planted another one. It'll get to be about 20-25 feet tall, not too large. We've got a few coneflowers in there. This plant here is lupin, the native lupin. It has seeded all through this area. You can see some of it underneath the serviceberry there. And in the spring it puts on quite a show. And it's a good early source of pollen for the bees. The Penstemon grandiflorus, which has gone to seed, making a nice little punctuation mark there. And in this area we've got a lot of the prairie drop seed, kind of a mass planting, with some other native plantings in with it. There's some agastache in there, which is not bloomed yet. And some of the yellow cone flowers in the back there have kind of an elegant look. This little perennial is called catanache, or Cupid's dart. It's kind of a papery seed head, kind of an interesting little perennial. Tends to die out sometimes, but then it'll reseed. Kind of a short-lived perennial. So taking a wider view of this area here with all the prairie drop seed. This is a large Baptisia alba, the white Baptisia. This tiny little thing, when I put it in, it's taken 8 years or so to get to this size. Slow to mature, but it lasts forever. Got these big, nice seed pods on there. They're interesting. They turn black in the fall. So I've got a stand of butterfly weed back here. Looks like something's been chewing on it. Could be earwigs. Don't really see any monarch caterpillars yet. Hopefully we'll see some. Some cannas in there. Dwarf cannas. Some zinnias. Queeny lime orange. And the fine textured foliage in the background is a spirea shrub, which the rabbits ate down. It would normally be much taller than that. Gresham spirea. It's nice white flowers in the spring. And this massive plant here, which is about 8 feet tall, is a Rudbeckia. It's a cross between a native Rudbeckia and a non-native. I believe it's called a herbstone. We had a rebar cage made just to support it because it will flop a bit. It's kind of hard to see in there, but it's very tall. Interesting plant to have around. So a view back from the sidewalk, looking at that tall Rudbeckia in the back. Got a little opening in the fence there leading to the backyard. Clematis going up that wire, the metal piece. Another look at that massive herbstone Rudbeckia. And a little closer look at the clematis, flowering way up at the top. This is the giant Solomon seal. Very interesting plant, architectural plant. Gets these great berries, which will be turning blue and ripening, and the birds really like. Moving on to the other side of the sidewalk, or the pathway here. It's more of the Bradbury's Monarda. Got an annual salvia there. And in the back is a newly planted shrub. It's a chokeberry called Professor Ed, otherwise known as Aronia. I really like the Aronias. This one is going to stay on the small side, I believe, 4 to 5 feet tall. Gets great fall color. Got a cage on it to protect it from the rabbits because they started going after it right away. Another view of the giant Solomon seal. Got a DeGroat spire arborvitae. I'm glad I kept it away from the underneath the overhang because it's gone way past it. This is a hardy geranium called Orion. It had bloomed earlier. It becomes massively large probably 6 feet across. I've since cut it back, but it was sending out its blue flowers and mingling with all the plants around it. It's very nice to have the hardy geraniums. And the coneflowers just keep reseeding and spreading around. But I'm not complaining. So I guess that'll do it for our tour of the front yard. It's an area that has undergone a lot of changes over the years, and it's fun to watch it continue to evolve. So I hope this has inspired you to maybe pull some of that grass out of your front yard and try something new and different and have some fun. So plant more natives. Bye for now.